Mr. Chairman. I have a couple of questions from Ms. Richards, and then I'm going to yield whatever's remaining to the chairman. Ms. Richards, Peter Welch sits right down there on the other side. He's a gentleman from Vermont who's a Democrat. Peter and I do not agree on very many issues, but there's not a more well-regarded member of our body, I don't think, and he evidenced that today by making it crystal clear that he makes an effort to understand both the analysis and the conclusions of those who may have a different position from the one that he holds. Do you understand how some of us may, at a base level, disagree with you on the origin of life? Do you make that same effort to understand that my friend from Vermont, Peter Welch, makes?
I fully respect, and I think I spoke to this in my opening statement with the chairman, that I understand people have different feelings about whether abortion should be legal in this country or not. I think it is important that it is legal, and we can disagree, and I know thinking people disagree about abortion, and our goal at Planned Parenthood is to be judgment-free and to allow people, and women in particular, make their own decisions about their pregnancy.
We're going to get to the judgment-free zone here in just a second, but you mentioned abortion. How about partial birth abortion? Do you understand how some of us may support a ban on partial birth abortion?
Well, I don't want to, I'm not trying to be argumentative, but that was a political formulation, not a medical formulation, but I certainly understand that it was passed and is the law of the land, and Planned Parenthood certainly meets the requirements of that law.
My question wasn't whether you follow the law. My question was whether or not you understand how some of us may be very much opposed to that practice. That was my question.
I understand how people can disagree based on their religious beliefs, their background, their own personal experiences, and I also understand that people sometimes change over time, and that's the human condition.
Are you suggesting those who hold a contrary view to you need to change? Is that why you added that line, Ms. Richards?
No, I've just, candidly, in my 10 years at Planned Parenthood, I've experienced myself people who have picketed outside of our health center and then found themselves in need of our services, and we try not to judge.
And I'm sure that there have been employees who grew tired of participating in the practices that they were participating in, and they may have gone to the other side, might they? How about opposing abortions on the basis of gender or race? Can you understand how people may support legislation that ban that?
As I've tried to say, I appreciate that people have a lot of different views on the issue of abortion, and there's any number of different pieces of legislation you could describe, and I think fundamentally at Planned Parenthood we take the position that we trust women to make their decisions about their pregnancies. I've made my own decisions as well, and so I feel like I can
Richards,
walk in these shoes.
I appreciate the way you like to frame the issue, that you're the reasonable one, and those of us who have a contrary position are not reasonable.
I didn't say that.
No, that's exactly the last answer you gave. That's exactly what it was. Much like your people evolved to a more advanced viewpoint, much like that comment was also directed to that.
Those are not the words I said. I said sometimes people change their opinion.
No, it's not always what you say. Sometimes it's just what you mean.
Well,
in 2014, you disagreed with my colleagues' 100% figure. What percent of your money did go to Democrat candidates in 2014 if it wasn't 100%?
I told him I will look. I know that we support Republicans across the country. I wish there were more Republicans.
Name me some. Name me some Republicans in Congress that you support.
Well, I don't actually want. In this public forum, I'm not going to raise their names because they have been such the target of their fellow party members. But I'm happy to provide that to you later.
Well, the donations are public.
And some of them, yes. I'm not. I don't know in terms of federal office. I was thinking more broadly in terms of support for candidates across the country. I know there are Republicans that we support, and again, we would like to support more Republicans for office. We wish there was. We don't believe that women's health or women's rights should be a partisan issue.
And,
I
and we,
wish it
and we
weren't.
don't think eating dinner salads and drinking wine while you're discussing infanticide, we have a problem with that too. So I'm sure you can understand why we would be as viscerally opposed to what we saw on some of the tapes. Would you not?
I just think we may have feel like everything I've answered, you see in a different way. So I respect your opinions, and always open to listening to other people's opinions.
Gentleman's time has expired.